Bismillahir, Rahim. Alhamdulillah wahdahu. Wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'dah. Amma ba'd. Ustad Ziyadi recited this morning Surah Qaf, which is Surah number 50. Actually, Surah Qaf is the first surah of the end of the Quran. And so the surah at the end of the Quran, we call those surah the Mufassal. And Surah Qaf is the beginning of the surah that we consider to be the Mufassal. The surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we revealed in the Meccan period, is a complete reminder of the day of judgment and how we're going to have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be held accountable for the things that we have done and the things that we have said. Allah Azza wa Jalla opens the surah by reminding us about the position of the kuffar of Quraysh, how they rejected the concept of al-Ba'th, the concept of resurrection. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala substantiates His ability to be able to perform the resurrection by explaining His what He does by sending the rain, bringing forth crops from the earth. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us of the as-Sabiqa, the previous nations, and what happened to them, how they rejected and disbelieved, and Allah ta'ala destroyed them. And Allah Azza wa Jalla reminds us that there's angels writing down everything that we say. And then Allah ta'ala goes into giving us some details as it relates to what will take place on the Day of Judgment. How people will be pushed, there will be witnesses, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will determine some of the characteristics of those whom Allah Azza wa Jal will determine to be from the people of the hellfire. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the reward of the people of Jannah. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, He concludes the surah by reminding us once again of how easy it is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring about this resurrection, and how this is ذَلِكَ حَشْرٌ عَلَيْنَا يَسِيرٌ. This is this gathering is going to be yasir, it's easy. And so Allah Azza wa Jalla, then He finishes off in the last ayah, نَحْنُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا يَقُولُونَ. Allah knows best as to what they are saying. Allah knows what's happening. Right? As if to tell the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, listen, don't worry. We hear when we know. And everyone's going to be dealt with. So those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remind them with this Quran. Those who have fear, those who have belief, those who have this iman, remind them with the Quran, because all these other people, we're going to deal with them. And so this surah, this is a summary of the surah. It's a very powerful surah that will jolt you because of some of its description, and because of how the I don't want to call it a threat, the wa'id. How do we translate wa'id into English?
Promise.
Huh? The promise or the wa'ad. The promise of punishment. How about that? The promise of punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in this surah is enough to jolt you into reality as far as what is important and what is not important, and what is the future of the human being. Those who are righteous, what they will receive, and those who are not righteous, and what they will receive. So I advise myself and advise all of us to go home just take a quick look. It's only 2.5 pages in Arabic. Just review the surah, look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ponder over these verses, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to benefit. May Allah ta'ala accept from us our good deeds and our righteous actions. May He wipe our faults and forgive us our sins.
Ameen.